Test check, microphone check. I think we got it. I think we're live. Lucas, we live? What are we doing?
Well,
Lame. Lucas is lame. He's delayed.
well, no, it's always delayed.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. That's how it
Yeah,
goes.
I hear the sound.
Welcome to the interwebs. What's
So I hear the sound. You're good.
awesome? What is up, all you beautiful tree lovers like myself? My name's Matt Latham, Board Certified Master Arborist and Registered Consulting Arborist. One out of about 150 on the planet. And we're coming at you live with Ask an Arborist. Now, for those of you that are new here, this is a new channel that we've really only had about a year on. And we started this just kind of as an outreach to just get people like good, solid solutions, good answers to their tree care problems. Because quite frankly, there's a lot of great trees on this planet. We love our trees. We live under them. They provide so many benefits to us. But go look up, let's rephrase that. Go ask 10 certified arborists and you'll get 10 different answers. And that's really common. But however, there are a lot of guys and gals that are really coming around to codifying and solidifying and standardizing proper tree care. So that's what we're here to promote, is making sure you get the right answers to your tree care questions and make sure you care for those green pets that you love and live around. So appreciate you guys being here and being a part of this community. We are currently streaming right now. We're live on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube, and the tubes of you. And again, we have been growing so much this week, you guys. It says 79 new members this week, but that is completely inaccurate. Let me look it up real quick. 1 second. Because this is going to just shock and amaze you guys, or it did me anyways. We are currently growing at about, maybe you could see that, 787 people per week. So for those of you that are brilliant mathematicians out there, that's about 100 and what's that? 110, 112 a day. Yeah, that's crazy, you guys. Never in my wildest dreams would I have said, what was it? November 2024, maybe we were talking about starting this group. I think October or November. Isn't that right, Lucas? Yeah, October, November 2024. So in just a brief, 15 months or so, we have grown by so much. And we started off with, I think, like 50 people, just some friends of mine that I've known on the face webs, and they came on and joined, probably just because they felt sorry for me. But we've grown this to be like a real active community with so many top-notch professionals in here. And again, thank you, all of you, experts that are here with us, and to all of you that are coming in and being a part of this community asking. I know we've got a lot of hobbyists out there, gardeners, that just continue to give us some great questions. And quite frankly, I love hearing me talk. So if nothing else, y'all are just providing me some good stuff to talk about. So appreciate you guys being here. And I hope this group has been a great service to all of you. So that's the whole point. Y'all, I have been a flake about coming on here and doing these live streams, and I wanted to formally apologize to all of you. We have had some family stuff going on, some career growth stuff going on. Just in this past week, I did 2 other podcasts for other professionals out there. I had 2 more people reach out to me this past week to want to be on their podcast and collaborate on some stuff. So we're growing and growing and growing. And, one other thing that maybe you've heard me talk about this before, but I was really honored. I was approached by the International Society of Arboriculture and asked to be a speaker at their upcoming annual conference this year. So I'm really honored. We're going to talk about some arborist liability stuff. And I was having a good friend of mine and I were having a conversation earlier today, and we were talking about that lovely ethics agreement that you and I, as arborists, if you're an arborist, certified arborist anyways, that we all signed. Guess what, guys? When you signed that, you are contractually bound to some things. And you really got to know those things, because that's important, because it can anyways, and might someday even will, if you play around too much. You're going to find out that those things are serious and they can be upheld in a court of law. So with that being said, y'all, forget me and all the things I want to talk about. Let's get into y'all's great tree questions. Just so you know too, guys, we've got this really cool new tool. Check it out. I got this pen here and I got this little tablet thing here. Luke has been trying to get me to get one of these for a long time, and I'm really excited about it because guess what? We can do some cool things. Like this is one from last week. Check this.
Yeah, the non-screen one. I like the ones that have screen on it.
Oh, okay. Lucas is fancy. He's got these great screens and stuff, but at least for now we can draw pretty pictures. And look, let's see if I can draw a tree. Whee! It's about as good as the whiteboard, I think. Right?
Yeah, I mean, you just got to get used to drawing where you're not looking at the paper, you're looking at the screen. You know, that's
So I'm terrible at this so far, but we're gonna have some fun. And for now, sorry, Jason Sycamore, you're getting defiled right now. So, all right, we're gonna give that a whirl. Got rid of the whiteboard. You can see it's over in my messy office right back there. Hadn't forgot about you, you beautiful little whiteboard, you. But we're gonna try things digitally a little bit and see if I can avoid messing it up too much. So, with that being said, you guys, let's get right into y'all's great tree questions. Where is my mouse? Oh, that's why. It's confused. See, this is new technology, you guys. I got two mouses going. All right, so we've got Adria Johnson. Adria. I hope that's how I'm pronouncing it right. Asking about the Adria's big, beautiful magnolia split the center of a large, heavy branch. I really hate to cut it back since it is still wanting to bud and bloom. That branch added so much privacy to the road. I see that frowny face. I'm sorry, Adria. That stinks.
Oh, so we're not going over Mary Moyer Gilbert?
Well, let's do this one first, and then I'll refresh it and see what we got. I don't see that one.
So Adria Johnson. I gotta find her.
I'm sorry, man. I should have made sure we were on the same page. Holy cow, I just got like 3 more arborist reports due for an insurance consulting firm. That's going to be fun trying to keep up with all that. All right, so Adria, sorry, but I'm getting bunny trailed like crazy here. What's the recommended course of action to preserve its health, and will there be concerns for the rest of the tree if we lose such a heavy side of the tree? I don't think you have to lose it. I don't. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, so let me introduce you to the wonderful world of structural support systems. Now, let me grab a book of mine. I want to show you guys because this is a really, really fun and fantastic book. Now, if you can see here, my daughter has destroyed it, but these are the NC A300 standards produced by the International Society of Arboriculture and codified by the American National Standards Institute. They're also produced by TCIA. Sorry, I'm saying ISA, but it's mostly TCIA that produces these. Tree Care Industry Association. So, what I want... What's that, Lucas? TCIA. Hey, I was talking with a buddy of mine, too, and he's actually going to be a trainer for the CTSP course. That's Certified Tree Care Safety Professional. CTSP. And so there's really 3 primary, like, top-tier certifications. One is the BCMA, 2 is the RCA. Both of those I have. And the third one is the CTSP, Certified Tree Care Safety Professional. And for those of you that know me, I have spent 18 and a half years of my career climbing trees. Safety is very important to me. Because I came home every day of those. I did not go to the hospital. I did not go to the morgue. And I highly recommend going that route. So in order to do that and come home alive every day, it's important to know the safety side of things. So CTSP is one that I'll probably be pursuing this year. But getting into your question here, Adria, we're going to do this. We're going to pop open a new file on... don't save that. We already saved that. Here on Paint, and I'm going to show you exactly what I would do. And I'm going to try this fancy little pen thing, y'all. If it looks terrible, I'm so sorry. That's tough cookies. You're just going to have to deal with me here. But what I would do is consider bringing this side, and you're basically, oh, that's not what I want. And we're going to take a black pen. That's a good one. And we're going to draw a line all the way back up into the canopy. I need to... Yeah.
Where it says size?
Yeah.
See size? Right next to color.
So we're going to brace this and pull this up into the canopy. That's going to be really important. And what I would do, Adria, I wouldn't just go to this limb right here. No, I would go to, where's my backspace? I would actually tie it to this limb on the bottom, and you're going to pull that limb up into the canopy and brace it, tie it off to another one. Now, this is, Adria, this is one that you're not going to be able to, you're not going to be able to do it on your own. You need to get a top-notch professional out there to help you out. What I would do is recommend going to ASCA, ASCA consultants.org and find a qualified registered consulting arborist who can help you make the right decisions here. You can also go to treesaregood.org and find a preferably a board certified master arborist, or at least a certified arborist that is track certified. That is very important, that track, TRAQ. That stands for Tree Risk Assessment Qualified. This is going to be somebody that understands the physical structure of the tree. So you're going to brace that back in. And then once you've got that brace, what you're going to do is you're actually going to do threaded rods that go all the way across that branch, right where it's split. Now, typically, we're going to want to take the diameter of the tree tissue, which looks to be about 12, 14 inches. It's a big branch. And you're going to make sure that each bolt is spaced evenly, at least 14, however many diameters inches. You want to space them across the branch. So let's say you got 12 inches, go from here to here, and you don't want to put them in the same line. You want to stagger them slightly so you're not producing these decay columns that go all the way down and eventually cause bigger problems. But this is a very reparable problem, Adria. This is not a lost tree. Problem's not going to be like where the tree can never seal this. This is a structural fracture. So think of like you fell down the stairs and you busted your arm. They don't just automatically remove you or remove your arm, right? We can typically repair that broken arm, and same goes with the trees. And let's see where it is. It's in, I think it's part 12. No, it's part 7. If you look here, supplemental support systems. Hold on. Supplemental support systems there, if you can seize it. That's going to be really important to make sure that the person that's doing the work understands these ANSI A300 standards and can do it accordingly, because all of those standards are there for a reason. So very reparable thing. If you want, we can always take a look at it and maybe help you out on my end as well. At least come up with a good plan. I can't probably be there because depending on where you are in the world, it's a big, bold, beautiful world, and there's a very real possibility that I'm not physically close enough to you to be able to help you. But if we can at least get a good plan together, then that can be something you pass along to the guys that do the actual work. And again, BCMA, RCA, or a track certified arborist, TRAQ, very important. So, but that is a really cool magnolia, and I think it's worth putting maybe $1,500 or however much it's going to cost you into repairing that, and then maybe have them take a look at the rest of the tree too, because you got some other issues I see possibly, but this is not a death sentence. This is not the end of the story and the life of this tree. That is, well, if you're willing to go that route at least. You got a lot going on here, but very, very, very reparable, and you've got a tree that is unbelievably cool. I would fix it if it were mine. I'd spend the money. But hope that helps, Adria. Let me go ahead and drop this here. Along with this beautiful picture I made. I'm such a good artist, you guys. That's a lie. That's not true at all. I'm like a terrible artist. Okay. There you go, Adria. Hope that helps. We are moving on. What's up, Jeff? Thanks for the comment 3 minutes ago with your sick tree. This tree's in my backyard. I'm concerned about all the vines growing up the trunk. Can I cut the base of the vines around the base of the tree to unalive the vines, or do the vines have to be stripped off manual? Any other options and solutions? This one's pretty simple. Yes, you can remove them at the base. Higher credit repair. Thanks for the question. Let me get to that here in just a second after I do this one with Jeff.
Did I approve a higher credit?
What's that? No, it's not an ad. Oh, I didn't check the comments.
Oh, I thought you said higher credit.
No. It's a question that came on YouTube.
Oh.
All right. So, Jeff, in answer to your question, yes, you can cut them and remove and just cut them at the base, and they'll all unalive up above that. And you want to just keep pruning it as the new buds grow on the vine on the base of it where you cut it. You'll be able to do that. It's better to remove it just because you're expediting the natural process. But all of those vines above are eventually going to decay and fall off. Now, that could be 5-10 years down the road. So you're better off just getting a turnkey. That way you're helping the tree breathe. All of those leaves that are covering the trunk are no good for the tree. They're blocking gas exchange in the bark. They're promoting fungal pathogens, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah, I agree. Drew Thacker, great comment. Cut the vines and they'll die and shut off eventually. The key is eventually, but you're better off removing them completely. So, hey, what's up? Higher Credit Repair. Thanks for your question live here, and hope you're still listening. The question coming at me is, what season should you not prune your trees? And what does all trees need besides water to thrive? Ooh, that's a great question. This is one I teach all the time. Guess what trees are made of, you guys? You ready for this? It's a lot simpler than you think. They're about 45% oxygen, 45% carbon, about 4% hydrogen, about 3% nitrogen, which, by the way, 78% of the air we breathe is nitrogen. It's right there everywhere. Just take a breath. You and I will never know what nitrogen smells like because it's all around us. We're so used to it. It just smells like air. It's the answer to that question. So in answer to your question, what do they need besides water to thrive? They need oxygen in the soil. They need the microbes to function and be healthy. So that's maybe one answer to your question. Sometimes you can supplement a little nitrogen, but you're actually better off supplementing carbon. Things like humic acid, fulvic acid, biochar is great stuff. You can actually do molasses, which is an artificial way to feed the microbes. That's an artificial way to pump sugar into the ground. But most of the time, the leaves are all going to make the sugars that the microbes need. They send typically about 40 to 60% of their sugars that are produced in the leaves down to the soil to feed the beneficials. And those guys, in turn, give your tree everything they need. So in answer to your question, what do they need? They need a good, healthy growing environment. The forest is ideal, so anything you can do to open up the soil, add organic matter and good carbon, preferably not chemicals, not your colorized mulches and all those phytotoxins. But in answer to your question, they basically need carbon, which is going to feed the microbes, sugar, which is going to feed the microbes. Those are going to go in and they're going to chelate minerals that the tree needs, and they're going to cause carbon dioxide. So as those microbes respirate in the soil, they're going to breathe off carbon dioxide. They're going to give that off just like you and I do. And that in turn, all the leaves have these little openings called stomata on the bottoms of them. So as that carbon dioxide is rising from the soil, that in turn, the leaf takes that, combines it with water that pulls up from the roots, and then uses sunlight coming down on the tops of the leaves to convert that carbon dioxide, hydrogen to H2O, and water, and make glucose, which feeds the trees. So they need a lot less than I think most people imagine. What they need is a healthy growing environment. They need us to get out of the way. That's what they need. And in answer to your question, what season should you not prune your trees? I would say spring is the number one season not to prune your trees. Now, that being said, if you've got an oak and you're worried about oak wilt, if you have oak wilt in your area, and of course, check with your agriculture extension. That's going to be very important. Here's a good link to it, by the way. This is just a list of all the states and their agriculture extensions by state that you can use to just find yours, get in contact with them, and find out if you got oak wilt. That's really, really important, because if you do have oak wilt, you want to avoid pruning during the growing season. So spring, summer, and fall. That'll be very important. But most of the time, it's pretty non-damaging if you prune your trees in the winter. That's generally speaking the best time. But there's some exceptions, of course. So hope that helps, bud. And we're moving on. Let's take a look at some more of these Ask an Arborist questions. Neighbor's walnut tree. I think we already talked about that. Hi, Amanda. Thanks for joining us. I joined because I'm new to being a property owner and wanted to ask, how is this even possible? My grandmother planted this pear tree decades ago, and I thought it had been destroyed by ant. It crumbles at the touch of the trunk. I thought it was a lost cause and we were going to have to take it down, but it's completely full of leaves and it's also flowering. Could anyone explain this? I would love to explain that for you, Amanda. Trees, there is a difference between health and structure, right? The two can often be related, but they're actually mutually exclusive for the most part. And so you can have a structurally decrepit tree that is just healthy and thriving and beautiful, because what happens is trees are going to divert resources. So you had some decay here. You had it looks like girdling roots probably caused that, or at least started that stuff going on. Carpenter ants got in here. Looks like some borer exit wounds. You probably have some fungal pathogens and all that. The main thing, I'll just say this, Amanda, you're going to want to excavate the soil. But what's happening is on the outer 1 to 2 layers of that tree on the opposite side is the vascular tissue of that tree. So even though you've lost about 50% of the vascular tissue, it still has enough resources that it's produced over the years and stored in the trunk, the branches, and in the root tissues. But you've also got active transportation tissue, meaning like vascular tissue, that's on the back side of that decay that's clearly still functioning. So it's really important that you make sure to get those root flares excavated, because I'm not a prophet by any means, Amanda, but I would be willing to bet money that if you don't get those excavated, the problem's going to be exacerbated and continue to become problematic. And eventually you might be looking at an unalived tree. But for now, I think you're okay. I would definitely get those root flares excavated though. And let me give you a video that we did recently, is just to kind of show you exactly what we're looking at here.
Well, I did upload all those videos, by the way.
Oh, you did?
And you should have gotten access to the folder, by the way.
Oh, nice. Hold on just a second. Oh, that's cool. I'm already getting reactions on LinkedIn. People are commenting on this post. Let's see here. Girdling. Warning, girdling roots may be unaliving your trees. One of these decades, I'm going to get a computer that works really fast. It's going to be great. Y'all are going to love it. I'm going to love it.
Don't do it right now. Computers everything's like overpriced right now.
Yeah. That sounds like something they do.
Actually, some of the pre-built stuff is apparently cheaper than buying the parts and building yourself right now. But it could be also that, those computers have been sitting for a while. And it's still growing.
Who is this? Who's Jason Junior?
Jason Junior.
Junior. Well, that's odd. Okay, so Jason's saying sick tree. Looks like sick person, maybe. Not sure what to do with this situation. However, if you're going to ask advice in a group and then turn off comments, then just take the post down. I have no problem answering legit questions with serious answers. However, I also have no interest in seeing posts from people who aren't serious about the advice they supposedly, that's not a word, but it's funner to say. Funner's also not a word. Homeowners looking for free advice and then turning off their comments is a waste of everybody's time. They may as well just remove the post. Let's see what we're looking at here.
So,
yeah.
I actually saw this and I figured this would be one of those ones where if I publish it, you'll read it and tell me what you think. Or
yeah.
If this is something to address. We have had that happen where people have turned off their comments when people are legitimately asking questions,
Yeah.
and we turn them back on. So what I would do is at least say, hey, just in case you don't know, we do turn the comments back on when we answer the questions. If somebody does turn the comments off, but
Well, let's see who Mr. Junior is. Y'all, by the way, for those of you that don't know, By the way, this guy Jeremy Williams is a phenomenal arborist. He and I grew up kind of in the industry together. He's in Fayetteville, Arkansas. So if you need a top-notch professional, I'll vouch for this dude. He's a good dude. Anyways, I often see. Oh, gross! That one's not. All right. Do you see that?
Oh, I didn't know.
Okay, Junior. Who are you, Jason? Let's see. Jason Wren, Jason Cutler, Jason Ferguson, Jason Heiser, Jason Hardy, Jason Cheatham, Andrew Jason Koenig. Andrew also, by the way, is a phenomenal arborist. Koenig. Sorry if I'm pronouncing you wrong, Jason. Jason. I see no. Oh my goodness, we're not going to look through all the Jasons. All right, Jason, I could not find your last name, so I don't know who you are, but you're saying serious arborists and serious questions answered and serious answers, but I'm not seeing. Ooh, there we go. Maybe Sims we can look up. John Sim, Jason, Andrew Sims. What do you say? James Sims. Where you at, James Sims? Do we seriously? Oh, look at that, James Sims. What's up, buddy? Okay, so by the way, y'all, I wanted to go through this because this is a really good demonstration of just a real quick research tool that you can use. Just go to treesaregood.org. And that's this one produced by the International Society of Arboriculture. These guys, isa-arbor.com. They're all right. I like Ask-a-Consultants a little better, but that's, y'all know me. And there's a reason for that. Oopsies. Okay, so if you go to this website, treesaregood.org, and you click on the verify a credential or even the find an arborist, you can actually go on here and just look somebody up. So I want you to have this resource because there are so many arborists out there that go on and they're like, I'm an arborist. And it turns out they have 0 credentials. It is perfectly legal and legitimate to go on and say that you're an arborist without saying certified. Certified arborist is a copyrighted term by the International Society of Arboriculture. So if they don't say certified arborist and then a number right after that, they are out of compliance and you should report them to the International Society of Arboriculture because they are a fraudster. So anyways, that's there's my soapbox for the day. Huh. All right. So Jason, I don't see you on there. I see a lot of expletives. You seem like a tree guy, that's for sure. Contains mature adult content. But also, y'all, he's got a point. Is if you guys want questions answered, you got to leave your comments open. Sometimes it gets out of control, and we'll shut them down ourselves if we have to. Because when we're getting like 200 some odd questions answered.
Disrespectful.
What's that?
Or if it gets real disrespectful.
Yeah, and if it gets crazy and people are just out there slandering each other and arguing online, that's stupid. Y'all quit that, first of all. Second of all, Lucas and I both have been on a banning spree, and it's really fun for me. Because it's like, hey, I'm a top-notch professional, but I'm gonna talk smack and act non-professional. We're gonna ban you because we don't do that in this group. We keep it profesh, we keep it kind and honest and loving, and we're just gonna do that in this group. So if you don't like it, I don't care who you are. I won't name names, but I got rid of once Detective Dendro. Anyways, there's a guy that I love and I consider my superior in this industry by all accounts, and he was acting a fool, and I had to suspend him for a little bit. But he's back in. He's commenting galore, and love having him here. So nothing personal. It's just business. But we keep it copacetic. We keep it cool and we keep it kind here. And that's just the way that's the atmosphere we're gonna have. So Jason, I don't know what you're talking about. The content isn't available clearly. We're gonna go ahead and delete that. But y'all don't come in here and act a fool. And if you got questions, leave the comments open. If it gets out of hand or abusive, obviously we'll try to step in. But if you need to, reach out to your admins and your moderators. Report it. That's the best thing you can do. If it gets crazy and you're feeling abused, report the comment and we will take swift action. and we will ban them for life. I don't care if they repent. I don't care if they change. We're not going to do that here. There's a zero tolerance policy in this group. Appreciate y'all understanding. Olivia, what's up, Olivia? Thanks for commenting. She says, we live outside of Seattle. 2 tree professionals, 1 arborist didn't know what this is. This is the second tree we're taking down. The trees appear healthy. I posted on my profile and some believe it is a woodpecker. I think it's a pileated, however you pronounce it, woodpecker. Any advice on how to stop this? Any good arborist and tree service? YKU, what is that? You know us, recommend in my area. Thank you in advance. Yeah, I think it's a pileated or pileated woodpecker. We're going large. That's funny, Lucas. It's a woodpecker for sure. I said it's probably one of them squatches. Chewed them. It's a squatch. Got that. That's what do they call them? Skunk apes.
Giant squash.
You should probably make an AI video on that, Lucas.
A big squash.
Big squash, kind of like a squatch, like a Sasquatch, but different.
It's just a squash. It's a giant vegetable.
It's a squash.
Squash.
That'd be hilarious to see an AI squash.
Tree. Or rubbing up against it to clean off some of the debris from coming up from the ground.
Right?
No, but still, that's still.
Yeah, so for those of you that don't know too, I just a real quick announcement. Check this out, you guys. This is mind blowing to me. Where is it? Not those. Oh, come on. Did all the children get home from hike school?
Probably.
Mm.
The school's ending right now.
I'm getting Starlink here in a minute. I'm gonna be on my own server. I'm over it.
Just funny, Starlink.
Starlink, yeah. 8,900 people, you guys. Oh, right on the dot. Look at that. 8.9 thousand. Thanks, Tom and Tim and Robert, for being here. Y'all closed the gap because we were at 8,897 when we started this live stream. So 18 minutes. Tom Gillen, Tim Berg, and Robert Fouard. Sorry, man. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Robert. Fouard. Maybe you can join us and correct me and make me a better person. But y'all, it's really fun being a part of this group and having y'all ask all these great questions. And we're moving on. Mary is asking, we just moved to this house December 23rd. Now the snow has melted. I can see what's going on. My thought is to tear these 2 plants out. There's also landscape fabric under the mulch, and I lifted some up today, and it's wonderfully rich soil underneath. I want to rip this all out and start with a blank slate, I assume. I live in Michigan, suburb of Detroit. I'll be there not too long from now. I'm open to all thoughts about what to plant here. The one exception is hostas. My husband does not like hostas, and you don't have to plant hostas there. I am willing to grant him that if I can find something else that spreads and fills up space every year like a hosta. I also like a lot of color, so I'm going to put some impatiens there. Impatiens that's not like you have no patience. Those are a type of flower, impatiens. They do well in the shade. I'm going to take a wild guess and say maybe you've got a shady area in that region, Mary. And north-facing side, yep, of my house. It gets almost no direct sun. Any suggestions? And thank you for accepting me into this group. Well, thank you for being here. It's great to have you, Mary. You've got a very limited working space to work with here, so you're going to want to keep something small. If you've got a nice, rich, well-draining, acidic soil, then you can go with like your standard azaleas. Might do well up there. You can go with, I don't know, that's a tough one. I wouldn't put trees there. Now, obviously, this is a tree group. This is an arborist group, but, I would consider like some hostas or something like that. But, again, the best place to start is just go to your local agriculture extension and find out what they recommend because, quite frankly, the they're going to know better than I can. I'm here in Houston, Texas. You're in flipping halfway across the world, as far as I can tell. And I'm not the expert when it comes to choosing the right plants there. We are working on developing a really cool tool on my website. It's called a tree chooser. But again, it's more designed for, oh my gosh, I could not type. It's more designed for like trees than it is, and it's really still in development now. So you just go on here to arboristondemand.com, tree choose or pick the right tree. Do me a favor, Mary, if you can, if you don't mind, like go onto this website and just test it out, see what it says, and give me some feedback. I want to know from your perspective what you're looking at, what it suggests. But really, the best choice is to get with your local agriculture extension and try to get them to help you pick the right tree, because they're going to know a lot better than I can. Just plain and simple. I'm not too humble to admit when I am not the best solution. I'm good with that. So yeah, Mary, if you don't mind being a beta test for me, that would be amazing. And really help me make the right decisions, because we're always trying to make things better, and we got a lot going on in my world, y'all. Like I said, I had 2 podcasts already this week, and I'm tired, you guys. We had a big project that we did yesterday, finished up yesterday, I should say. But podcasts, I got 2 more podcasts next week. I'm still trying to finish this book, y'all. I was supposed to have a winner, but it just never slowed down. And so I'm not quite done with all the editing and adjusting. And there's so many little micro details that you don't think about when you're like, hey, I'm going to write a book one day. So anyways, but yeah, I'm slammed. Just picked up 2 more court cases regarding trees this week as well. So, I'm tired, you guys. Anyways, severe sun scald maple that Kate's got. Kate, I'm sorry, that stinks. But I don't see it as a lost cause. Here's what I see is they didn't wrap it, and somehow it's still wanting to bud out. That's normal. We talked about that with, whose is that? Amanda's post up there. You got same stuff going on. Is you got a difference between the structure and the actual physical health, the physical structure and the biological health. So the tree's budding, it's blooming. Now that could be off of the vascular tissue that's still there, or it could be off of the stored resources that it has in the bark in the branch and trunk tissues that's remaining. But what I will say is that you could tell here that it's actually compartmentalizing and doing very well. And so I'm not real worried about that. However, what I am worried about, Kate, is you've got all these rocks down here. You got buried root flares. You got a tree that's really trying so hard to do its thing. And you can tell that because of all the new growth here. This is not just this year. This has been going on for years. I don't know, at least 2 or 3 years that I can see in that picture. And I could be wrong, but it really looks to be about 2 or 3 years worth of damage there. But let me dispel a myth for you. And it's that mulch, rocks are not mulch. Whenever you want a tree to thrive, think of a forest. The tree wants to be in the forest. So guess what is not on the forest floor is a bunch of fancy architectural rock chips. And it's a beautiful landscape feature. It really is. And you could do like little dry beds and stuff, like dry river beds. You could do a lot of cool things with stone integrated into landscaping. But right around your trees, that ain't it. So you definitely want to get those rocks away and trade it out for a good organic mulch, and maybe even a thin layer of compost. That's really going to go a long ways. So Kate, I don't think it's a lost cause. I did see, I think it was Charlie Marksberry. He's a wonderful arborist. I'm really excited because Charlie's going to be a board certified master arborist here pretty soon, I think. And yeah, but those rocks actually reflect the sun, and they're just going to make the situation so much worse. So get them out of here if you can. That's going to really help out. But I think it's critical. You got to get rid of those rocks. You got to expose the root flares, and maybe during the winter, if it does get crazy cold, go ahead and wrap them next time. So But I don't see it as a lost cause, especially on a young tree like that. You got a lot of years left on that tree, so we'll be praying for it and keeping our fingers crossed, and just take the advice you're getting here, because you're getting some good, solid advice, I think. So hope that helps, Kate. We're moving on. John Lippincott. This is what I'm saying, guys. We've answered, like 6 questions, and we're only 3 hours in the past. This is getting beyond me, and one of these days, I'm actually going to have probably Lucas come in and start identifying and picking out, and maybe just like give me a list of all the cool, fun ones that we can talk about. And we're going to have to start changing things up, because we're getting at least 20 people coming in here every single day and asking questions. Y'all, I'm one simple arborist, and I got a lot of stuff going on, and I just can't get to them all. But for now, let's talk about John's here. So 3 hours ago, and we're already 6 or 8 questions deep. But this magnolia has woodpecker damage and rot in this branch. The rest of the tree is fine, but what interests me are the cuts above the main damage that look like clean circular rings that were cut with a saw. How did this happen? I don't think it got cut from the saw. Thanks. I'll get some better shots later. Please do. Please post them. I think you've got this entire half of the tree at least is toast. So what probably happened, maybe there's some cuts, maybe not, something unalived that trunk tissue. And now what you're seeing is that those fungal pathogens coming in and doing what fungal pathogens do best, which is eating the woody tissue. They're consuming clearly the cellulose and the lignins. And so this is probably a form of soft rot or even a white rot. But it almost looks like a brown rot, though, with all the cracks those horizontal cracks. I would be willing to bet money that it's probably not worth saving, but I'm sorry to say that, John, but yeah, you got a lot going on. The magnolia is a poorer compartmentalizing tree anyways. Actually, let me look it up. Oh no, I don't have that book. Yeah, I do. It's in this pocket. Y'all ever met an arborist that carries a library with them everywhere they go? Trees in Development. This is one of my favorite books by Nelda Matheny and James Clark, 2 legends in our industry. And right here in the back of the book, check this out. This isn't the definitive when it comes to actual damage compartmentalization, but look at this. Relative tolerance to selected species to development impacts. What that's saying is how much tolerance can a tree take before it's too much. So let me just look up magnolia. Southern magnolia. Okay, see it here, you go. Relative tolerance. Maybe you can read that, maybe you can't, but Southern magnolia, poor or good. Poor or good is not great. What that says is, and I know magnolias pretty well, they don't compartmentalize very well. Hey, what's up, Sprout? Glad to have you, buddy. Thanks for being here, man. Sorry, I've been kind of a slacker when it comes to these live streams, but we're getting back in the swing of things. I had a crazy week last week and this week so far, and the week before. So anyways, we're getting into growing season. So what I'll say, John, is it's probably too late. The woodpecker is taking advantage of a weakened tree, and they're going after the beetles. They want to eat all the delicious, tasty, juicy, and protein-filled bugs that are in there. And realistically, it's probably not coming back from that. So I'm sorry to say it, but you got a lot going on this tree. Yeah. Bug-infected deadwood. The tree's on its last leg. Thanks. I may saw off that limb. We'll see. I would cut it down and replant. May have been kids playing or an inexperienced saw operator. Maybe. Rotten and going to fall down. Yeah, but if it doesn't hit anything and it doesn't cause damage, yeah, who cares? If a tree falls in a forest, y'all, who cares? All right, we're moving on. Angela from St. Louis. What's up, Angela? Thanks for being here. I think it's a prairie fire crabapple tree, I believe. Yeah, it looks like crabapple. That's beautiful. I think it was planted in 93 or 94, or about 8 or 9 years after I was born, y'all. Thanks for dating myself there. Productive limbs keep on aliving. Can you tell me what is wrong with it by looking good at it? I'd like to plant an apple tree near it. I don't want the apple tree to get sick if the tree is contagious. The bark does not look happy to me. It was unaliving before we started using it for shade for the sandbox. It's been losing limbs for some years. We had a freeze that made most of the flowers unalive this year. Not all the pictures are from the same day. That's good to know. Yeah, you got a tree that's kind of on its last legs there, Angela. I love the little sandbox under it though, man. Raise your hand if y'all ever um, played in one of those or have kids that played in one of those little green turtle sandbox. I love that thing. We got a couple different generations of kids in my or stages of kids in my household that have played in those green turtle sandboxes and gotten penworms galore. Sorry. TMI, y'all. TMI. But y'all don't bite your fingernails after playing in the sandbox. That's a bad idea. There's a fecal joke in there somewhere. Okay, so this to me looks like some sort of... What's up?
You say that makes so much sense.
What's up, man? Sprout, I see you.
Oh, my little brother, when he was younger, had pinworms.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, how did he get those worms?
Yeah, biting his nails.
Yeah, biting his nails after being in that sandbox.
That's it, man.
He used to play in the park.
Right? Right? All right, so yeah, you've got a crabapple tree that's probably on its last leg, Angela. But I mean, it's still blooming and still beautiful. It is going through a process called retrenchment, where it looks like it's trying to lower the canopy. Retrenchment is actually a good thing. That is the tree trying to stay alive. And so you've got a lot going on here, but one of the things I want to point out to you is the root flares are indeed buried, Angela. That's going to be really important to try to excavate some of that soil. I also see possibly like an herbicide type scenario going on. You got this beautiful yard that has some brown patches, maybe from herbicide that's been used. Make sure your guys aren't, or if it's you, you're not using like weed and feed or like the big box truck companies that come in and spray your yard with their big box chemical concoction. And I got to come up with some fun slanderous words to use about those companies without slandering. So, but they're terrible. It looks like you're doing the right thing. Keep as much of the green tissue as you can. You can actually reduce the canopy height, so it's less likely to unalive off on its own. But what I would try maybe doing is just open up the soil a little bit. Looks like you got a compacted soil. Obviously, you guys play there, and you got some foot traffic and all that. And I would maybe, if you are using some sort of herbicide, just stay away from that. Even if it's just like a weed and feed, and it says it's good for your grass and everything, and it won't unalive anything. Most of them have labels on the back of the package, and if you check the MSDS sheet, they're going to say, do not put where you suspect there may be possibly kind of sort of could be roots. You just don't want to do that because most of those, like paraquat is one of the most common ones I see out there. You can get it at a Home Depot in very, very heavy concentrations, relatively speaking. And it's so bad. But recently, somebody put one of our ASCA forums, that's American Society of Consulting Arborists. In one of our forums, we were talking about atrazine and about paraquat and all these chemicals out there. And paraquat's one of the worst ones out there. And so there's so many studies about how bad a lot of these herbicides are for humans, much less your trees. So do what's right for your tree, do what's right for yourself and your family and your kids and your neighbors and all that. Try to stay away from them. I mean, obviously there's exceptions, but I think people so overuse chemicals. So anyways, Sprout was asking, I have very, very sad news. My favorite river birch in my neighborhood, that's not mine, of course, had a really beautiful structure, got lion's tailed. Oh, and now it's ugly, ugly how they did it. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm sorry, Sprout. That stinks. These tree guys are the worst. I know because I are one. But for those of you that don't know, lion's tailing is a type of pruning that's just so incredibly toxic. And you see it all the time. It's usually done by landscapers or certified arborists. They're not immune to it. I see certified arborists do this kind of stuff all the time too. And it's that, to me, that's pathetic. Y'all go read a book, but here's a little video I did. It's just going through. Oh, let me pull up my library here. Another one of my favorite books. This is the Illustrated Guide to Pruning. This is by Dr. Ed Gilman. It's the third edition. It's about a $200 book, and it is so well worth it if you're an arborist. Get this book because it has like everything you can possibly imagine regarding trees. But there, it even goes over some like root pruning and stuff like that. Well, excuse me. It has everything you can imagine regarding pruning trees, and it talks about lion's tail pruning. And so here's just one page. If you could see here, this is like a graph of different pruning styles and some of the advantages and disadvantages thereof. So I can't really see it, and you probably can't see it too, but man, it's so toxic. And I'll just read off some of the advantages of lion's tailing is to reduce crown size of the crown at the bottom. So if you need to raise the canopy up, it may reduce trunk failure, but not crown damage in the wind. It actually increases crown damage. So that's two advantages, maybe. Okay, that's fair. Let's go over the disadvantages. Shifts growth towards the crown edge, causing breakage. Causing, Dr. Ed Gilman says, causes damage. So it's not hurricane pruning. It's not thinning. It's causing damage. That's crazy. Discourages branch taper. Branch taper is another factor when it comes to tree strength. So the wider it is and the sharper of a tapered angle it is, the stronger it's going to be. Think of pyramids are here thousands of years later, whereas a lot of other buildings that were not pyramids are not. It's a very strong structure. Encourages branches to sag. So you get those like branches that come down. Well, now you have lion's tail that there's nothing to remove it back to. So you can't really prune it to get that raised up like you would a normal tree. Can induce decay by removing local sources of photosynthate. That's one we arborists don't talk about enough, you guys. Is each leaf is a food factory. Each food factory, that's how it goes. Yeah, that's a really good point, Sprout. I appreciate you bringing that up. So every one of those leaves is actually producing the carbon, the oxygen, and the hydrogen we talked about earlier. That is the basic building blocks of life for a tree. That is what the tree is made of, essentially. And of course, it eliminates lateral branches that could have been used for reforestation. So once you prune it like that, it's really hard to train it back. It takes like 5 to 10 years minimum. So Sprout brought up something really important here. I think I missed this. My dad was telling me something. Oh, that's okay. You can go back, dude. Did I mention that they lion-tailed this after we had a major wind event that destroyed a lot of lion-tailed trees in my area? Dude, Sprout, I see it all the time, bro. Check this out. Lion's tail pruning causes limb failure. Hold on. Hold on. Get this eventually, you guys. Why is it doing that? Filter. I cannot get my. Okay, that's sufficient enough. Gotta love technology, huh? Oh, y'all are just staring at my forehead. That's weird. Here you go. There's a tree to look at. That's better. Literally days after. That's how it works, dude. Yeah, Sprout, that is exactly how it works. Is unfortunately, lion's tailing actually does cause structural failure of trees. So if you prune it wrong just one time, then you can actually cause that tree to fail structurally. So, yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, man. That really stinks. But I have an issue with the industry standard to remove water sprouts because oftentimes the tree has a good reason for them, and I personally think they should only be removed when the sprout is crossing. I actually agree wholeheartedly with you, Sprout, talking about sprouts crossing. If I had a friend of mine, his name's Jimmy Pritchard. He's a legend in the industry. He actually competes in geezers in the treesers, also known as the Legends Tree Climbing Championship. And he's a great dude, just a really humble, down to earth guy, one of the best tree climbers I know, and just a great dude. But he used to say, "Bro, if the tree put it there, we got to have a better reason to take it off, bro." And I just love that because it's, if you know Jimmy Pritchard, Jay Prizzle, he's a great dude, and you can just hear his voice saying that. And he's absolutely spot on. Is if the tree put it there, Sprout, we got to have a better reason to take it off. So yes, one of the industry standards is in reference to trees. Let's see if I can find it. 5. It does talk about branch sprout removal, but you won't hear me talk about that, Sprout, because I think those epicormic sprouts are a good thing, and we should keep them to a minimal. Pruning specifications include location, pruning systems, pruning amount. So anytime you're actually speccing out, so like if I'm writing a proposal for a client, I actually have to spec out what's going to be cut and why. And that's really important. Smaller diameter cuts should be preferred over fewer, larger diameter cuts to achieve the specified objectives. That's really critically important. And again, going back to Ed Gilman's book, he discourages removing epicormic sprouts or water sprouts. So I agree. There is a standard technically that says you can remove them. You can spec that into it. But it's actually recommended by all the literature to leave them alone if you can and do minimal pruning. So thanks for bringing that up, man. That's really important. All right. What's up, Lovely B? Saying, I planted these emerald green. Those are arborvitaes, for those of you that don't know. Once planted, they were more woody / sparse than I'd like. Is there a way I can get them bushier at the bottom? I planted with fertilizer, and they will be getting full sun. But wanted to see if there's something else that can promote growth. Yeah, stop fertilizing. My other emerald greens I planted last year were fluffy down to the bottom, so there's a difference between these guys planted next to them. Your main thing is you can actually train them with pruning, but what I would do instead of adding fertilizer, instead of pumping it full of chemical drugs, is actually just open up the soil a little bit. Oh, shoot. So anyways, yeah, I would add mulch, and you want to expose the root flares there. That's really important. And, it is what it is, but the other thing is you can just prune them with train them with pruning rather, to be a little fluffier at the bottom. What that looks like is maybe reducing some of the branch tips up top, and that hopefully will spur on some growth on the bottom. You can indeed put some, different things like humic acid and molasses will help to jumpstart a lot of the bacteria, which will pump some good nitrogen into it. Nitrogen is going to be your friend when it comes to getting green growth, but you want to limit it and make sure you're not like overdoing it. It's kind of like taking energy drinks. One of them is going to give you a lot of energy. Thousands of them will destroy your liver. So you don't want to do that. But anyways, hope that helps. Miguel, silver maple tree. Look at this. We got like 20 of them down so far, Lucas, and we're down to 5 hours ago. That's just insane, you guys. All right, thinking long term, which branch should be removed to guide the tree's structure, and what is the best way to make the cut so we don't shock the tree? We're located in California's Central Valley, and we definitely don't want to damage or weaken the tree. Well, you already have. That is the definition of lion's tail pruning. I want you to go to treesaregood.org. And I want you to go into the homeowner resources, or tree owner resources rather, and they will actually talk to you about pruning and what to take and what not to take. Well, you're asking which ones to remove so you don't chalk the tree. I would not remove anything, Miguel. I think you've way over pruned this tree to begin with. You've got a codominant lead, which is a structural weakness in a branch, and you've got just a really terrible structure to that tree. It may look pretty, but structurally it is decrepit. Oh man, doesn't it though, Sprout? Man, that's a nasty tree. That silver maple needs training / pruning. Co-dominant for days. And is it a maple? It looks like a silver maple to me. Did he say what it was, Miguel? Yeah, that's a terrible, terrible pruning job. Silver maple, yeah. Ugh. Yeah, I would actually reduce the canopy height and start to try to get branches to grow in the middle, Miguel. I don't think you should be doing any more pruning of these lower limbs. That is so bad for the tree. Hey, that's a pretty good point that Sprout brings up. You can go a little more aggressive on younger trees, but you don't want to go too much still. It's just bad practice. So, Miguel, you got to get somebody that knows what they're doing to take care of that tree because you got some restoration pruning that needs to happen there, bud. All right, we're moving on. Holly's asking, hello, Augusta, Georgia here. We had a tree come down from the hurricane in 2024, and its partner caught a disease. Define that. That looks like a deodar cedar, maybe. Deodar cedars are super cool trees. 3-inch cut max. I would not do more than like half an inch on that tree. I'd leave it alone and let the sprouts come in. Pun intended, sprout. Sprouts come in and start to refill the lower canopy. But that's the last one. Holly, sorry, I'm getting bunny trailed here. Both had to come down, and I'd love to put the same variety back in the ground. We were told they were deodar cedars. That's what I thought. And I'm having trouble finding the specific variety. I don't have great photos, but the small branches had a weeping effect with very long tendrils. That sounds like a deodar cedar. Let me know if anything else would be help in identifying. I don't see any specific pathogen, Holly. I don't know, to be honest. It almost looks like a little bit of a rust type scenario, but I don't know if like apple cedar rust affects deodar cedars or not. I assume they do. Oh yeah, look at that leaf there. The problem is there's really not a treatment for it. Man, that really stinks, Holly. I'm sorry you lost that tree. That's a beautiful tree. Was. What I will say, the root flares are buried. You've got brush, some sort of plant here at the base that's probably trapping pathogens down there. So if it is some sort of a rust, then you want to open that up and let the soil and the tree and the trunk breathe. That's going to be really important. There's not a lot you can do once it's there. I will say this is it's probably best if it is that. And you can go to your local agriculture extension and find out from them what exactly it is. Just send them some tissue samples and they'll be able to start guiding you in the right direction. You can actually, if you're in what'd you say, California? Georgia, Augusta, Georgia. Yeah, it could be a tamarack. To me, it looks like a deodar cedar, but I've been wrong more than once in my life, so. There you go. Hope that helps. Reach out to them and send them some tissue samples if you still got them. See if they can help identify what it is. Oh, yeah, no, me neither. I made a cut over 3 inches. I don't think I've made a cut over 3 inches except on an ancient tree with a broken limb. Yeah. The thing is like you minimize the pruning as best you can. If you can make half an inch or less, then that's better. So hope that helps, Holly. We're moving on. Busy Lizzie. What a name. That's awesome. Can you tell me what is wrong with my oak tree? Also, if and how to save it. It's been on the property since my great-grandma. Thank you in advance for any and all help. Can you tell me what's wrong with my oak tree? Well, you got a lot of lichen on it. Lichen is not a bad thing, but that looks like an unalive limb. It almost looks like hypoxylin. What else takes? What do you think? Yeah, you got some fungal pathogen eating away at it. I'm going to be honest. I don't think you can save that tree, Busy Lizzie. Looks like a red oak. I can't tell if it's northern or southern or what, but definitely some fungal pathogens. This looks like a tree that maybe just passed its prime and it's starting to get some pathogens that are coming in. What you can do is, we could always jump on an arborist, a digital arborist consultation. I'm going to ask you some more questions and try to figure out if we can pinpoint what exactly is going on. But I would suspect there's a whole host of stressors that are affecting the tree, and I'm not sure, to be honest. Might have a bug. I think it definitely has a bug, but I don't know exactly what it is, to be honest. I'm sorry, we just don't have enough to go off of. But to me it looks like fungus combined with a bunch of just chronic stress. All right, we're still 5 hours. That's crazy. There's no way I'm going to be able to get to all of these, you guys. They're just trying to, we're going to have to start picking and choosing and maybe even doing like super chats and stuff like that for people to answer questions. For people that have trees that want their questions answered. Oh, shoot. Not yet. We're getting there. All right. Well, what do you think? Let's answer maybe like 3 or 4. Yeah, we're about, yeah. Let's do like two or 3 more and then we'll call it for the night. Does that sound good?
Yeah, it sounds fine. And then we'll pick this up Thursday.
Yeah. New to this property in southern Connecticut, I have a large tree in questionable condition. There's a long split that remains damp, and now you can see the icicle that formed there during the winter. That's cool. That's so cool. Problems we don't have in Houston. A sizable branch in back has been hollowed out as well. Bark flakes off along the bottom, and lichen is also forming. The canopy does still leaf out. A tree company said to leave it, but I'm reluctant. Would love to get your opinion. Bark flakes off along the bottom. That's a maple too, it looks like. I have a large tree in questionable condition. Sprout, does that look like a maple to you? Could be, yeah, it looks like silver maple. That's a lot of decay in there. Look at that ancient tree. That's crazy cool. I say ancient, that could be like 30 years old for maple. Wow, look at that terrible, yeah, silver maple, that's what I was thinking. Look at that terrible taper. Amy, if you've got anything under this side, I would actually seriously consider removing the tree. I don't like to say that. I would not like to say that at all, in fact, but you've got a really big tree with a lot of decay in it, a lot of structural weakness. If there's no target, just keep it. I agree. I agree with Sprout, but it looks to be like maybe there's potential for catastrophic damage if this limb were to fail. Looks like if anything over here, you've just got woods and maybe some other trees that might get smashed, but I'm really concerned with this big limb and that garage or building right back there. So what you really need to do is get a closer look at it by a well-qualified arborist. What you're looking for, registered consulting arborist, board certified master arborist, or TRAQ. That's tree risk assessment qualified arborist, certified arborist. These are 3 credentials that are going to get you some guys that really understand the structure of the tree and can start to help guide you along. I'm happy to take a look at it myself and maybe see if we can get a digital arborist consultation going and figure out a good game plan. But I'm not so liking the trees endangered in nearby buildings. I'm not seeing a good situation here. If you did, you're probably, if I did take a look at it, I'm probably going to say we need to cable it, we need to brace it, we need to reduce the canopy height, we need to do some tree growth regulators to stunt the growth and try to keep it healthy and thriving. So anyways, that is my humble 2 cents. Anonymous is asking, this is a mature two trunk pine. That's cool. It is a shared tree with the neighbors and is hitting my roof. That's not cool. My neighbor is not wanting to remove it right now. I want to remove all the limbs above my property, but I was told it would compromise the tree's health. I'm worried about it splitting and also the limbs hitting my house. Any thoughts? My side had the thicker of the trunk, so I'm assuming that's the big one here. I'm wondering why limbs are falling and hitting the house. Because, I mean, all I'm seeing is maybe some unalive tissue here, some lower branches that haven't made it. What I would do, if you're worried about structural failure and like catastrophic things happening, like the whole tree splits in a storm, I would definitely get a tree risk assessment qualified arborist out there, board certified master arborist like myself, or a registered consulting arborist to recommend what to do. But just off the first glance, I'm thinking maybe a cable is going to be warranted in this situation, or maybe even 2 or 3, and then maybe some structural pruning to go along with it. So not a lot to go off of here, but I hope that helps, Anonymous, and we're going to go ahead and move on. So, and again, like I said, I'm happy to help myself. It's arboristondemand.com. We can always take a look at it in person and figure out a good game plan. That's really important. So, moving on, let's do one more, and we're going to call it for the night, you guys. Again, only 5 hours into it. This is crazy, y'all. What's that, 25 we got to in the past hour?
Yeah.
20, 25, somewhere in there. Jennifer's asking, that's a great name. That's my wife's name. I have what I think are 2 oak trees in my front yard, and I feel like they are too close to our house and will cause issues in the future. I don't feel that way. I do feel, however, you've got 2 live oaks that will eventually become gigantinormo and maybe cause problems. So it might be worth petitioning with the HOA to see if you can bypass the bylaws and get them to allow you to remove 1. But I'm not really worried about the house, and here's why. The foundation, if it's a slab foundation, which I'm looking at your neighbors, and it appears that they're all slab foundations, pretty typical in suburbia, that they will not grow. Tree roots will not grow. Y'all, this is very important. They will not grow, period, in an area where there's no water and no oxygen. The root caps have little sensors on it that they'll sense and literally feel to see if it's the right growing condition. And if it's not, they're going to turn right back around. I have seen tree roots go up to the house, go down, and go out away from the house. And that's normal. They're not going to grow where there's no water and oxygen. If the tree needs it, they're going to seek for it. And if they get to a place where it doesn't have it, whatever the it may be, then they're going to grow around it and they're going to go away from it. So I'm not really worried about it, but I might petition with your HOA to see if you can get 1 or 2 of them removed, maybe plant, not 2 of them, but 1 of them removed and planted with, and maybe choose like a smaller tree that's going to be smaller when it gets to full maturity. But yeah, I wouldn't do it. I will say this though, is you definitely got to get rid of the root flares, all that soil up against the root flare, whichever one you choose to keep, or both of them, or none of them. If you choose to replant, you've definitely got to get the root flares taken care of, because that's going to be a very big long-term problem, and that will stress your trees out and keep them from growing. I actually just did a video on this. Let's see if I can find it. Dashboard content, such. By the way, you guys, if you haven't yet, go over to YouTube and look up Arborist on Demand, and you'll see my page there. We're almost to 1,000 people, and we'd love to have you guys join us as well. That's not my main thing, but I really like teaching this stuff. And so this is just like one little issue that can show up if you've got your root flares buried here. So hope that helps, Jennifer. And with that being said, you guys, I got to get back to report writing. Yeah, training, pruning, that's going to be important. Sprout's absolutely right. There's a little bit of training, a little bit of pruning, and definitely a root flare excavation is going to be warranted here. So y'all, thanks so much again for being a part of this group. We love having you here and being a part of this community. Again, if you haven't, head on over to YouTube and look up Arborist on Demand. Hit that subscribe button and hit the little bell button. That'll help to just make sure you're kept up to date whenever I post new videos and such. I tried to get them out for like 1 a day, but it turns out 30 minutes of video editing and 10 minutes of video shooting is a lot for me right now with all the stuff I got on my plate. So but we're doing the best we can, and again, we got a lot of great things going on, so y'all stay tuned and keep those great tree care questions coming, and y'all enjoy those big beautiful green pets that we love and live around. So thanks again for being here. We'll see you guys next time. Bye now.